At some point in their lives, they experienced a divine encounter where they were able to feel and contemplate the presence of Jesus Christ. A mysterious and supernatural event took place in the peaceful town of Santa Lucia, nestled among the picturesque hills of northern Italy. Wrapped in lush greenery, the prodigious tale came to life through a young boy named Juan, whose angelic appearance and radiant eyes captured the community's attention. Juan, an 11-year-old boy at that time, hailed from a modest lineage of farmers. He gained renown for his innate benevolence and his propensity to spend long hours in solitude in the surrounding fields. He often immersed himself in reading the sacred scriptures or in silent prayers. His devotion made him a revered young man within the community. However, no one could have imagined that he would become the protagonist of such a momentous narrative. It all happened on a splendid spring morning when Juan headed to the modest temple of Santa Lucia to fulfill his devout morning prayer routine. As he bowed in reverence, the lamps of the sanctuary seemed to come alive, and a feeling of tranquility, along with the magnificent divine presence, filled the room. The faithful present, including the venerable parish priest, witnessed a radiant glow surrounding the boy, whose countenance exuded profound serenity. Juan shared his account of that unusual experience, in which he felt the warm and loving company beside him manifested as Jesus Christ himself. The young man claimed to have beheld the friendly face of the Redeemer and heard words filled with love emanating from his lips. News of this encounter spread rapidly among the inhabitants of Santa Lucia, eliciting disbelief, astonishment, and longing. The community, rooted in its traditional devotion and close ties to the Church, divided between those who embraced Juan's testimony as a genuine miracle and those who maintained a skeptical attitude, fearing it might be a deceitful scheme or an episode of influence. Following this extraordinary event, young Juan became the center of attention for local and national media. Journalists, theologians, and curious individuals flocked to Santa Lucia in search of answers. The entire community found itself immersed in a whirlwind of media and religious fervor, where conflicting opinions clashed in taverns and town squares. This seemingly divine encounter would forever transform Juan's existence and cast a shadow of mystery over the tranquil town of Santa Lucia. Throughout this narrative, we will delve deeper into Juan's experience and the community's reactions, seeking to unravel the meaning and impact of this unprecedented claim. The central character of this prodigious tale was an 11-year-old boy of attractive appearance, with chestnut-toned hair and deep eyes that seemed to reflect a kind-hearted soul. He held a minor position within a family of indigenous farmers, widely recognized in the community for their dedication to the land and profound faith. During his childhood, he grew up in a simple and peaceful environment marked by daily school routines, assisting his parents in agricultural tasks, and participating in the religious festivities of the village. From his earliest years, Juan demonstrated an unusual interest in religion and spirituality. As a child, he developed the habit of immersing himself in the sacred scriptures for extensive hours, dedicating his free time to meditation in the dense forests of ancient trees that stretched across the family fields. His devotion set him apart from his peers in the parish. However, no one could have foreseen the wonders he would experience. The extraordinary proclamation from Juan emerged during a family dinner on a peaceful evening. While seated at the table, Juan suddenly interrupted, his face displaying a mix of surprise and joy. He exclaimed, "Today, Mother and Father, I have conversed with Jesus." Initially, his parents believed it to be a joke. However, the solemnity shining in their son's eyes convinced them that something extraordinary had occurred. With enthusiasm, Juan shared his experience, detailing the atmosphere of peace in the sacred space and the warm embrace he had felt. He recounted how Jesus had appeared to him with a radiant luminosity enveloping his figure. According to Juan, the words of Christ overflowed with sweetness and were filled with love and compassion. Listening intently, Juan's parents felt a surge of emotion and astonishment. Initially, they feared their son might need psychological assistance. However, his unwavering conviction and calm recounting of the experience made them reconsider. They realized they needed to approach the situation with the seriousness and compassion it deserved. News of Juan's encounter with Jesus spread rapidly throughout the town, triggering a wave of reactions among friends, relatives, and neighbors who were torn between disbelief and hope. The parish found itself in a state of unrest, with numerous faithful congregating in the church of Santa Lucia to pray and seek a similar spiritual experience. The expressions of young Juan had raised profound questions in everyone's minds. Was such an exceptional encounter genuinely possible? Did this represent a divine test or a challenge to the deepest faith? As the debate intensified within the community, national media outlets began to descend upon Santa Lucia, preparing to meticulously examine Juan's overwhelming narrative and celestial experience. Juan recounted his astonishing experience of encountering Jesus with great detail. According to his testimony, while immersed in prayer at the church, a golden luminosity began to expand, illuminating the space in an almost magical manner. A feeling of peace and serenity enveloped him, making him forget everything else. At a specific moment, Juan sensed a presence beside him. Slowly turning his face, he found himself face to face with a man recognized only through the sacred images of the Bible, Jesus Christ. The figure of Jesus was enveloped in a dazzling radiance, yet his gaze emanated love and lacked severity. According to Juan's account, Jesus began to speak to him in a gentle voice, inquiring about his love for faith and fraternity. Juan claimed that Jesus' presence filled him with an ineffable serenity and joy. However, he entrusted him with a mission: to spread messages of faith and hope among his peers. Juan's announcement about the divine encounter elicited varied reactions within the community of Santa Lucia. Some, driven by deep faith and reverence for Juan's family, immediately embraced the young man's testimony as a genuine miracle. In private confessions, some recounted experiencing profound spirituality when visiting the church where the divine encounter occurred, praying with renewed fervor. However, not everyone was willing to embrace this outstanding narrative. Some community members expressed skepticism, questioning the authenticity of Juan's experience. There were those who considered the possibility that it might be a vivid dream or even an illusion. The debate occasionally grew heated, with passionate discussions between those viewing Juan as a prophet and those doubting the veracity of his testimony. The parish, now at the epicenter of attention, convened special assemblies to deliberate on the extraordinary event. The parish priest himself sought to maintain an even-handed approach, encouraging the community to reflect on the unfolding events and to elevate their prayers for greater understanding. Meanwhile, reporters and media crews swarmed Santa Lucia, eager to interview Juan, his family, and other congregation members. The town found itself in the spotlight, both nationally and internationally, with opinions and speculations proliferating rapidly. Amidst this frenzy, Juan remained calm and steadfast in his testimony, asserting that he was entrusted with a special mission for the benefit of all. Juan's chronicle and his encounter with Jesus deeply moved the community of Santa Lucia, sparking a wide range of reactions, discussions, and reflections on faith, spirituality, and the possibility of contemporary miracles. The community remained divided between hope in a divine revelation and caution regarding the extraordinary. Months passed, and young Juan persisted in his conviction of a unique mission. He dedicated his days to disseminating messages of love, compassion, and hope to those willing to receive them. Many residents of Santa Lucia continued to frequent the church, praying and yearning for a similar spiritual connection to what Juan claimed to have experienced. Juan's chronicle and his divine encounter remained one of the nation's most unusual and controversial narratives. As media attention gradually waned, the story continued to evolve. Adult Juan began organizing modest gatherings at the Church of Santa Lucia, sharing teachings of faith, hope, and love with those interested in listening. However, controversy surrounding the authenticity of the event persisted. Religious scholars and wise individuals continued to analyze the narrative, searching for evidence or more precise explanations. The local community grappled with the constant influx of curious visitors and believers from all over the country. Juan's account and his encounter with the divine presented a challenge to faith and uncertainty, questioning the boundaries between what is deemed feasible and unattainable in a world where science and faith often seem to tread divergent paths. While the future remained uncertain, one thing was clear: Juan's tale and his celestial encounter would leave an indelible mark on the community of Santa Lucia for generations to come. If you'd like to explore more faith-based stories like this one, let us know in the comments below. Until next time,